So here I was, waking up from my afternoon nap to this tweet from Jason Schreier, who says, "Glad I didn't go on vacation today." And whenever he tweets that, it means shit's going down. So I'm looking up the news. And as you've probably heard at this point, Sony is buying Bungie. Okay, and it's like, okay, I guess. Really weird, isn't it? How it's like a straight answer to the purchase of Activision Blizzard being bought by Microsoft. It happens nearly instantaneously. It nearly makes me feel that they've probably had that in the works for longer. I don't know. I just can't imagine that within, what was it, like 2 weeks? They're just like, can we quickly buy you? And then within 2 weeks, they agree on everything. I don't think that's how it works. So it was probably in the works for a bit longer, but they apparently closed it now. 3.6 billion. And I just wonder, like, what? Why? What does Bungie do? I mean, okay, we get it. You know, Bungie is the originating brand behind Halo. They recently split up from Activision, so they own all the rights to Destiny 2, so they kind of bring that franchise with it. But 3.6 billion. I mean, what was Star Wars? I think they paid close to 4 billion for the whole Star Wars franchise and all the rights to that. Now we're paying 3.6 for Destiny 2. How many players does Destiny 2 have? I mean, again, we can't check it on the consoles, but we can hopefully maybe extrapolate it a little bit. Okay, so 24-hour peak is 65,000 players, active players. I guess that's not too bad, but is it worth 3.6? I mean, maybe they're really hoping that they produce new brands and become more kind of an exclusive studio ultimately. They maybe, they already announced that they're going to keep all the content for Destiny on both platforms. But what happens after that, TBC. And it's a powerful studio. Bungie is known for making really high quality games. Halo is an iconic brand. Destiny also, less so probably in terms of popularity. But they have proven that they can deliver great games. So presumably, Sony will now utilize parts of that company to start making their own exclusive PlayStation titles. And of course, every sale that comes out of Destiny 2 also, to an extent goes into the pocket of Sony. So probably it's not the worst deal. They're going to make their money back eventually, but it's going to take some time. It is not such a clear-cut deal as Activision Blizzard. And I understand that Microsoft paid too much, on the paper. They overpaid the company by 1/3 or something crazy like that. They paid way more money than the company was valued at. But at least you get kind of a catalog of really solid, big, popular brands behind it. And here you get Destiny 2 and maybe a new IP they're gonna work up. I don't know. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I understand the thinking behind it, but it seems much more nearly like a political move where Sony's like, no, we have to prove that we're still on the radar, yeah? We're still around, we still have money, we've got developers and games. Probably in their mind, they are still number one because this takeover of Xbox, with all those crazy exclusives and brands and Bethesda and so on, has unfolded so quickly that now Sony's pretty much not in the leading position anymore, but in their heads they probably are, so there's a bit of coping going on, I think, as well in this deal. It feels like it at least. Oh, this was before the news broke. I sure hope Sony didn't waste their money buying EA games. Oh God. Whoever buys EA games, honestly, like that's gonna be such a bad move. Oh, it's terrible. I'm just reading up on this and it's like they really only created Halo and Destiny. I mean, only quotation marks, get it, but I thought there might be like a small package of smaller IPs and games that they worked on in the past that I just don't know about and that would be included, but apparently it's not. It's just the creation of Halo, and obviously Halo, that's something Sony can't really usually imagine. Imagine Sony starts making their own Halo games. They're like, yeah, there are still these kind of rights, like some leftovers of the rights that stayed with Bungie, and now they're gonna make another Halo game. Halo Master Chef Collection or something. This is huge, holy shit, says Max Hyde. I knew Sony was going to make a move, but this is a dagger right into the heart of Microsoft. And then Will Esther replies, maybe if they were still doing Halo, but they have Destiny, not a huge loss if they decide to go PlayStation exclusive. And that's pretty much the point. Imagine Destiny 2 goes PlayStation exclusive. Who cares, bro? Like, it's just like really nobody cares about this. I mean, okay, sure. I'm sure there's a community. I don't want to offend those people, but I feel the majority of people like have moved on, right? We've moved on from Destiny 2. Lol, right. If Sony actually removes Destiny from Xbox, Microsoft will just remove Overwatch, Call of Duty, Elder Scrolls, and Diablo. Of course, there's this bluffing aspect to it. I mean, they already said that they're gonna release the imminent titles that come forward on both platforms. But of course, the end game is some kind of exclusive content. Out of all companies like Ubisoft and Take-Two, Sony bought Bungie. Xbox wouldn't give a shoot. Yeah, I to be honest, I kind of agree. It's an odd choice, isn't it? Why Bungie? It doesn't really work. I mean, exactly, like you buy Take-Two, okay, that hits like a bomb, and they would probably be not getting away with like 3.6 billion with that. That would be way more. Ubisoft, Ubisoft and EA are both kind of terrible deals in my opinion. These companies are so deep in the mud, up to their neck, that it's gonna be hard to restructure and focus all these studios and bring them together and create like really compelling content. I feel, it's just my opinion, is an odd one out, right? Because it's really just one game. It is just Destiny 2, where they're buying the Destiny franchise. That's what they're doing. And of course the potential workforce to create newer IPs in the future, but that's a whole different ballgame, okay? Creating new IPs from nothing, that's always a challenge, even for a company like Bungie, who've done it with Halo and who've done it with Destiny. Damn, that Activision Blizzard deal triggered them big time. This was probably a silly move. It probably did trigger them a bit, right? They're all like, we are number one. They cannot do this with us. We're gonna throw their money at some things. What can we throw money at? Oh, okay, it's 3.6 billion. Okay. It does feel like a triggered teenager a bit. I'm not gonna lie. Sony got mad about Xbox buying Activision. Yeah, that's true. It is really this triggered thing, right? They really did not like that move. There was also this thing from Phil Spencer where he actually congratulated Bungie and said like, hey, you know, great, that deal happened, whatever. What did he say? Congrats to the talented teams at Bungie. Great testament to your creativity, and congrats to PlayStation and Hermen Hulst, who is head of PlayStation Studios, on adding a talented team to your studios team. So I don't remember seeing a tweet like that coming from Sony when Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard. They were just bitterly sitting there like, oh no. Nobody thought about sending a nice diplomatic tweet like Phil did here. I sound like a horrible Xbox fanboy in this video. I'm really not, honestly. Like, I don't care. I'm a PC player. I'm glad there's the Xbox store. I don't use it very much, but I'm glad it's there. But Sony's throwing their exclusives over to PC as well. So I really don't have like an either or stake in this, PlayStation or Xbox. I'm just observing, I guess. And people respecting it, yeah. People shown appreciating the respect from Philly boy. After the cooperation wars, all games are Taco Bell. Who gets the reference? If you get the reference, leave it down in the comments. So Microsoft has Crash and Spyro, while Sony has Bungie, the creators of Halo, basically. The world's gone mad. It's gone mad. This is out of control. But it's true. Crash Bandicoot is so associated with Sony, I feel at least. And Halo, created by Bungie, is so associated with Microsoft. But it doesn't really matter because Bungie doesn't own Halo anymore. So, okay, they created the IP, I get it. It's these people's brainchild. But Microsoft is so associated with Halo, so I don't think it will damage that brand. So Tonton1N nicely breaks down the history of Bungie, basically. Bungie, we are leaving Microsoft to be our own independent studio. Also Bungie, we are teaming up with Activision for financial support. Also Bungie, we're leaving Activision to be our own independent studio. Also Bungie, we're letting Sony buy us for the same structure and financial support. Next they will leave Sony and become their own independent studio. It's true, man. The story's predictable, right? Their next move, they're gonna go all independent, man. They're gonna leave Sony. Like that troubled girl that constantly moves in and out of her parents' home after constantly fighting with her alcoholic father and counseling mother. Oh no, this got dark. Why did you have to make it so dark? Domestic AA battery, come on, man. Bungie is a former shell of itself. They need all life support they can get. That might actually not be that wrong. I mean, they have the Steam numbers, right? We saw that they've got a lot of players, and I'm presumably on consoles even more, or at least as much. So with those kind of player numbers, you know, they're probably still doing a fair amount of money with a community like that. But there is that aspect. I mean, it's a big operation to run a company like Bungie, so I don't know how desperately they need money and to what extent this was a move of desperation actually from Bungie. Do Bungie constantly need parental figure around or something? Considering they admit they struggled post-Activision, yes. I don't even understand how, when everything in Destiny 2 costs money, in-game store, season pass, expansions, soon dungeons will be paid as well. Where is all that money going if not to fund more employees to help them? It literally is/was going to find more employees. They've announced multiple times that they are trying to expand and get more people on board. They've even announced new job openings on the TWAB a few times. What is the TWAB this week at Bungie? Thanks, I didn't know that as well. I guess ultimately it does depend on the success of Destiny. Maybe I'm wildly underestimating it. I mean, the player numbers are fairly high, but possibly they just have like a really thriving community that generates a lot of money, way more than we think it does. And because of those numbers, Sony was willing to pay that kind of money for Bungie. I don't know. Maybe they have something else in the works as well. Maybe Sony has seen stuff behind the scenes at Bungie where they're like, ooh, that's cool, okay. So they kind of sell them everything that they're working on right now that looks really promising, and then they cash in. But to me, it feels like there's pretty much zero hype around Destiny 2. It's kind of being given away in all these, you know, Google Stadia platforms. Any game subscription service definitely has Destiny 2 in there. Destiny and Marathon are the only two IPs they own. What the hell is Marathon? Good question. Thank you, Sparrock3. It was basically Halo through the lens of Doom. And while it's a lot more obscure nowadays, mainly because it was a Mac series, holy smokes. IRC and a lot of Marathon's DNA went on to make Halo. We're going to take a look at this right now. Okay, here we are. We're looking at Marathon, a Mac game, and it looks great. Luckily, DW Terminator Gaming put this together for us. Okay, yeah, no, it's an early shooter. I get it. All right. I wasn't really aware of it, actually. Bungie paid Activision 164 million for the rights to Destiny 2. Wow, that is such a good point. Turning that into 3.6 billion is one hell of a parlay. Holy smokes, that's true, right? Because there was this big dispute going on between Activision and Bungie when they split off like who gets the rights for Destiny, and they paid $164 million. And now they're basically selling that same product more or less for 3.6 billion. Did I say million before? Million to billion. This is insane. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Anyway, guys, that's it pretty much. A bit of meta commentary about this purchase, reading a few comments. I think this could turn out to be not the worst deal for Sony, okay? Because 3.6 billion for companies like that is not the end of the world. It is probably a pretty high premium for a company like Bungie, but they seem to be growing. They're looking to hire more people. They're going to come up with new IPs. They always initially planned, that's what I heard, Destiny to be a trilogy, okay? So there might be Destiny 3 in the works, and soon they're coming with that to the market, and whatever, it looks better, it's the game that everyone wants. I really personally can't imagine it, because I don't want to play any more Destiny, and especially I hate how the game is monetized. It's just brutally monetized. Everything costs money, and it just doesn't seem to be balanced, at least not for me, you know, for my taste. Of course, everyone can feel what they want. But these are basically my thoughts, guys, and I think if Sony plays it right, then they will definitely make that investment back. You know, that's gonna happen for sure. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad deal for them. But what do you think? What do you think about this? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts on this acquisition are. If you enjoyed the video, then you can smash the like button. It's right down there, and the subscribe button is there as well. You can do that. You can hit the bell so you're not missing future uploads. I appreciate your time hanging out on the channel, and I see you in the next one. I'm out. Bye.